Here we go. Yay. All right. So here's what happened. I left my glasses at home, so I can only do a couple of things today. Recording content was not on my list of things to do, but I had to make that shift. I was supposed to be recording content tomorrow, which is Friday. Today is Thursday. I had some admin things to do, but I'm not going to work on those. Today, I am going to work on, oh, so I should probably tell you here, you guys, that I am recording on my phone. I am also recording in the studio here. I don't know what to call it. The computer. There we go. So I'm going to stay focused on the computer because I think that is the best thing to do. But the camera is right here. So we're going to do this recording and see how this works. This is sort of a build in public thing. I've been doing these build in public videos, and this is a build in public, but it's kind of fast forwarded. This is like because I've been doing build in public so you can see what's happening in real time. However, it's getting behind because I'm releasing one video a week. And stuff is more things are happening. Things are happening every day. And I'm finding that that's not going to work. So here's what I decided again, building in public. I decided that I am going to send these out whenever I have them. It's random, it's not scheduled, and it's not clean. It's raw in a mug. And I'm just sending them out so you know what's happening in real time. How does that sound? Because that's how life works. And I want you to stay connected with me as this happens because it's important that you see the process. It's important that you understand that you are not alone. All of that drudge that you go through, the trenches that you go through, there's other people going through it too. Now, some of this is going to be embarrassing. Some of this you're going to judge me on. I got to be okay with that. I'm not okay with it, but I got to be okay with it. I'm sort of like a build in private kind of person. By the time I usually end up talking about things, they are like halfway done. And then I'm showing the world. I do not talk about my dreams to people who don't have any, but I know I can talk to you because you do. And so I feel comfortable and I want you to trust me. And I think the best way to get you to trust me is to show you that I trust you. Am I right? Is that gonna help? Because if that's not gonna help, then don't let me be out here vulnerable and y'all ain't gonna be vulnerable with me. Okay. Um, so barbers, this is to my barbers, and I should have said that first. Barbers, just so you know, if you don't know me, because you probably don't, I am Kiné Quarter, the leading national certified counselor specializing in financial hypnotherapy. And I'm doing it right now for barbers. Typically, I do this for businessmen. I do this in retreat style. And so the two things that I'm building in public right now are I'm building a community for barbers. It launches on June 1st. On June 1st, I am going to do a vision session. And that vision session is to help you reignite the vision you had when you came into the barber industry, but also to redefine it because you've grown. You've been in the business 10 years or whatever. And that vision that you had 10 years ago is completely different than the vision you have right now. And we need to hone your vision so it matches, it aligns, it syncs with who you are. And the process that I'm going to teach you when you come into the barber community, Prosperous Barber League is what I named it. I changed the name. Yeah, build in public, right? So about 3 days ago, I changed the name. You'll probably see that on the YouTube channel now. And I changed it because society was overused. And I was like, I used to say society years ago, and now everybody's saying society. And I'm not trendy. I don't like being trendy. So I changed it to Barber League. And I think that just sits well better with us. And so, but going back inside the Barber League, what you are going to learn is some mental health and money systems. So, most of the systems you learn will be money, and three of the systems you learn will be mental health. So you'll learn, I talk about something called the money cycle. Money cycle is earn, grow, protect, gift, and enjoy your money. But I also talk about something called the money emotions. And the money emotions are, there's five categories. They're fear based, there are lack based emotions, there are lust based emotions, there are lonely based emotions, and there are mission based emotions. So I wanted this teaching to be 8 weeks. But when I went to do the curriculum, I found that it was 10 weeks. And I'm like, oh, that doesn't really line up with what I had in mind. So I'm wondering, do I compress it into to 8? Do I leave it at 10? Or do I kind of stretch it out to 12? Because that works better with some of the things that we would do. 12 weeks is 90 days. And I can spend 90 days in some of the places that I want to go in. So let's say, but that's kind of cutting it close, right? So I'm like, maybe the 10 weeks is right, so I can get my butt out of that country, because that's all I got in that country if I do this, in other countries. And if you do this with me, if you get to come where I am, or if you live in that other place. So that's a decision I have to make. I'm probably going to just go with the 10 weeks, but I like 12 weeks because I do. But this ain't an emotional decision. This is a logical decision. This is a business decision, and that it has to make sense. So those are decisions I have to make. Now, I've just told you what you're going to learn in the Prosperous Barber League, and that's what we'll talk about each week. But that is going to cycle. So don't think you're going to one time learn how to earn money and we're never going to talk about it again. No, every 10 weeks, we're going to go back to it, go back to it. So we're going to talk about those 10 things. Now, another way I could do this is to double up. I can talk about earn, and we can talk about the money emotions that go with that. But that's going to happen anyway, right? When we talk about earning money, we're going to talk about your fears. We're going to talk about the lack you have, the lust you might have. We'll talk about the loneliness you might feel. So all of this will get talked about, but I need you to understand these emotions. One, because eventually some of you might go on to certify and become financial hypnotherapist yourself and learn the self sync system. And those who want to certify, I know it'll be a small group, but that's okay. And oh, the other thing so that's one thing that I'm teaching is barbers. But I want to shift real quick and tell you the other thing that I am teaching is, this is so weird. Why is it saying I have 30 minutes? These things, I thought it was only 10 minutes. Oh, okay. So anyway, I'll explain in a second. I guess they extended it. I use this thing in Google called Vids, and usually they give me 10 minutes to record these videos, but now I have 30 minutes. But I don't want these videos to get too long, and I can't go long. So I'm going to try and keep this concise. The second thing that I am doing is I am opening a retreat center. But first, I have to get the Barber League structured and the foundation in place. And then I can go and continue to go back to building my retreat center. If you remember, I don't know how long you've been following me, but back in September, I went to no, in October, I went to France and I met with my consultant, and we talked about the retreat center. We know what it looks like. We know what it feels like. We know where it is. We know the best way to start in order for me to not have to build out, because I need to go to a place that is already built out. And a way that I would do that is to go into a hotel. So that's like a first layer. But the second layer is to build out something myself, which you need about $100,000 in order to do that. And anybody who's built a shop knows that those are about the numbers, right? I'm not being specific. I'm just saying a vague number, but that's about the number. You need about $100,000, and you're going to have about 6 months to a year before you break even. So based on the performer I created, I don't want to build out. I want to start inside of a location that already exists. I need to get some water. On. So that's what I am working on. But the only thing about that is my heart is with the retreat center. I have to be honest. That's where my heart is. But I know that I can't do this by myself. And I know that barbers have a need for some mental health support because they support so many people. I was on a podcast I'm gonna talk about that. That's the second video I'm gonna make. Okay. Remember, this is a batch record. So barbers need support. They need so much support, and I can give it to them. I can give it to them. I'm so good at this. This is what I do. And I've been a barber, and I have the financial knowledge, and I have the therapy, the counseling credentials, and training. So I can do this for barbers, but I can also teach them what I know that can help them make more money. So aside from doing my own work, like doing my becoming a being a what do I call myself? Because everything I do is not therapy. Some things that I do are not therapy. And so, because some things that I do are not therapy, I have to default to those things. And so, when I'm doing those things, I can't call myself a therapist because it doesn't, code of ethics wise, it doesn't work. Oh, I'm gonna make another video about this therapist that's been frauding people and what I think about it, and maybe even give some people where she might have been coming from and what she thought she was doing. But that's another video. So go look for it. But what I'm saying is my retreats are therapeutic. They are not therapy. And I know the therapist will come at me if I leave it out there. And when I see what happened with Cheyenne, I know I have to protect myself. I have to protect my brand, and I have to protect the clients and the barbers that I'm working with. We can't let the evils get in the way. We can't let my ego get in the way. We can call this whatever we want to call it. We do not need to call this therapy because it works and it's powerful. We can call it whatever we want to call it in order to protect it so that it can make the impact it needs to make. I don't have a doctorate degree. Some people call me doc, but I don't have a doctorate degree. I have a master's. I did take the test. I am board certified. You can look on my website and you can click on that, and National Board of Certified Counselors, or NBCC, is there. It will tell you, okay, yes, we verify that she is. She has been um, a certified barber for many years. I can't remember. I've been certified, I think, like 6 years or so, something like that. But I've been doing this work for a much longer time. But when I got my certification, when I passed my test and all of that, so I need you to know that so that you can have the faith that you are with the right person. Not only do I have the credentials, but I also, in the next video, I'll tell you why I'm a national certified counselor and not state licensed, because that's important too. But I need you to be able to trust me. I need to be able to trust you too. Because if I put my work into you, all this work, all these 30 years of research, almost 30 years of research that I've done, if I pour this into you, I need to know that it's not in vain. Because there's a lot of people I can go to. I tried this with financial advisors. I tried this with doctors. I've tried this with nurses. I've tried this with other therapists. I've tried this with groups of people. Who didn't take to it. They were like, yeah, no. But somehow I think that this will work with barbers. So I've been trying this for years, many years, trying to teach other people to do what I do. However, yeah, some of it is me. Some of it is me. I'm not patient, and I know that it takes time to educate the public and wait for them to to say yes. And I was like, you know what? It's no. If you don't see the vision, I gotta move on. Barbers are so smart. Barbers are usually first responders to things. They are innovators. They are, what are those people? Early adapters. That's what I mean. They're early adapters, and I know I can trust you. And all I have to do is show up for you every day. This Prosperous Barber League is the way that I will do that. Yes, it costs money to get in there, but it will be worth every dollar. In fact, you will feel like you owe me money. I need you to understand that. You'll feel like you owe me money. That's how generous I am with my time, my energy, my knowledge, and even just with my heart. Like my heart is for barbers. I love barbers. I loved being a barber. There's nothing better than barbering. Like that profession is so honorable. I remember, I'll end with this. I remember I got my degree, my first degree in the bachelor's, and I finished my bachelor's degree and I decided I was going to become a barber. And I was telling this to a barber. And I told this man, I said, I decided I want to go to barber school. And he was like, "What? You just graduated from college?" And I was like, "Yeah, but something is telling me that this is what I need to do." And he was like, "Why would you become a barber if you already have a license, if you already have a degree?" And I was like, first of all, for the freedom. First of all, second of all, for the money. Third of all, for the impact that I can make. I can change lives. I can touch lives being a barber. And there was one more point that I gave him that just slipping my mind right now. But those 4 points that I gave him in that conversation, I still remember kind of. I remember having this conversation and it was almost 30 years ago. And I found prestige in being a barber, even if he didn't and he was a barber. But I know what it means to barber. And I know the impact it makes. And I know that it makes me feel good in order to do it. And I know that people leave that chair and they look good and they feel good. And that is the impact that barbers make. And I want to be a part of that. Now, I don't know that I'll go back to the chair. I'm still trying to figure that out. If I do, I think what I'll do is cut barber's hair, but because I move around so much, I really haven't figured out how I can cut again. Because I going to France next. I'm going to DC. I can't cut in DC. I'm licensed in Illinois. So, and I'm not going back to Illinois. Sorry, guys. I love Chicago to visit, but I'm not living there. I'm living in France. I'm living in Dubai as soon as this mess is over. Um, I even love living in Albania. Yeah. So that's all for now. I think there was something else I was going to tell you, but it slipped my mind. That's all for now. I will see you sooner, and I love you muchly.